Welcome to the Your Energy First podcast, where we help you explore and better understand your intuition and spiritual gifts so that you can apply them to your day-to-day for your most purposeful and abundant life. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. It's Emily. It's so good to create with you in this space today. And the intention behind every session that I do, every podcast, is to help you learn something that is going to help you feel more empowered in your own journey. And part of us being empowered in our own journey is gaining wisdom from different parts of our life's experience. And as this podcast was coming to me, during my meditation, one of the examples Spirit gave to me is how when we think about a recipe, say like potato salad, you and I can taste a variety of potato salads in our lifetime. And if you're someone who doesn't like them, you can come up with something else. And we may like multiple versions of potato salad, and then we may not like a few other versions. And then when we make it ourselves, we mix it up and make it the way we like, or we say, you know what, I just want to go back to that version of it. The important thing that we remember is that anything I share here is a perspective. It's a perspective based on my experience. And I am constantly learning new things every single day as I do this work. And even what I know to be true continues to unveil itself in layers. More on that to come. I do believe that there's a time and space for different levels of knowledge. And I will only share things here when I have fully adapted them and alchemized them myself. And when I share things with the best of intention, it's always meant to still be received in a way that is, you're meant to make it your own. You're meant to alchemize it in your own way. And one of the topics we're going to be covering today is one that it's one that I want to make sure we understand at a high level. And I want to make sure that you feel comfortable so that if you ever hear about this, you don't feel like kicked back on your heels, right? Or, I don't want that to be true, or what does this mean? And the topic is spiritual warfare. So in the broader lesson for spiritual warfare, there's so many different definitions, and I wouldn't encourage Googling it unless you just feel like going down that rabbit hole. But basically, in a nutshell, what it is when people consciously come together to use energy in a negative way. And yeah, we can think of witchcraft. Arguably, potentially, my opinion is there are people, groups of organizations in our experience, in our government even, potentially, I don't know that to be true or not, but you can feel into your own personal truth around that, who have and can use spiritual warfare or use energy to impact people. And this is why the beauty of our own inner love and our own self-development is so wonderful. It's so beautiful and protective of us. It is guiding us. And naturally, you and I aren't going to be in positions where we're going to be concerned about that. But there's other versions of this quote unquote spiritual warfare. So other versions of this are when a group of individuals or an individual maybe has very negative, nasty thoughts towards you. Why would anybody ever do that? It happens, especially because our world is changing, and it's changing on the live stage of life. Essentially, most of us anyway, have access to a lot of information right now, and each of us has a part in how we are consciously bringing this new world forward. And as a result, we're going to ruffle feathers some people are not going to like the change. Some people are not going to understand that change is for good. Some people are just going to be generally unhappy that you're living your best life and that they're choosing not to. It could be a variety of different things. And so what we want to think about when we look at this topic is, what is my personal hygiene? Am I running energy for myself? Am I doing things that clear and ground my energy, be it in meditation or consciously when I'm in the shower or in nature? And then we also want to pay close attention to that self-care when we are consciously putting ourselves out there more, or taking big steps, big leaps in our career or otherwise. And it can have somewhat of a negative impact. You may feel your thoughts are scattered. You may feel drained. I have had clients who have experienced this based on their careers or positions in life, where they kind of felt like knocked out. And it happens. I never want anyone to feel like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Why did this happen to me? Sometimes it just does. And you always want to go to your inner light and regroup and be like, I'm calling in all the support. I'm calling in all of the help, all of the grounding, all of the clearing. And then, phone a friend, or, you know how to get a hold of me and I can help you, or I can refer you, right? You have help. Everybody does. The world is becoming more conscious, more aware of their own energetic powers, which means each of us is going to have a greater community of support. So getting back to, when these things happen, anything you can do to simply care and tend to your energy, calling into your inner light for support, calling in for specialists of the light to help you feel more calmed down. What is my next step here? And it's also important to realize why this happens, because what I'm noticing is that humans are unaware of the power and the impact of their thoughts. So getting back to a small group or a large group or individual projects very negative thoughts onto someone else, that can actually have a very negative impact on the other individual. Now, all that to be said, the thoughts have to be pretty spiteful. They have to be pretty strong and kind of get repeatedly strung up in a way that is going to start to have more of an impact on somebody else. And what's been really fascinating to me is I've been observing this element of our experience. It's multifaceted, and there are things we can do to care for ourselves so that we're not impacted. And those are the things that I already mentioned. Now, if you are someone who does experience this and you're conscious, right? You're like, well, wait a minute, I'm a good person, and I'm doing my version of my inner light work, and I'm minding my own business, and it does happen. This is actually going to be a way for you to harness in even more of your power. And the way that you do that is by building an even firmer, beautiful belief in yourself. By making choices that help you feel an even more radical love for yourself. The wild thing about these energies is that if and when you're making decisions in alignment, you're caring for yourself. You're like, oops, I got to drink a little bit more water today, or better add some lemon to that, or okay, I'm going to eat this nutritious food over here, or care for myself by doing XYZ, having a pleasure practice, or having a great dinner with friends or loved ones, going out in nature, whatever your thing is. The more you continue to make all of these decisions in alignment with yourself, the more buff your energy becomes. And that's a very powerful thing. And your energy is going to be much more challenging to tackle when you have that self-belief, when you have that self engulfment of what is true love. So, one of the universal laws of energy is that that which is of the light always wins, or always prevails, or supersedes all. So, as you can see, as you develop a genuine connection to yourself and genuine love, loving where you're at versus waking up and feeling shame because you're tired because you went to bed too late again, but you went to bed too late because you had a long day and you just wanted some time to yourself to mindless scroll and do a bunch of other things that you're like, oh, I should have done that. So there's shame, and then there's, okay, well, what do I really want though? Like, I see why I did this. I'm going to love myself for making those decisions because this is how I was feeling in the moment. Okay, so what's going to help shift that? You're not going to change your life overnight. And this is why you're also not going to love yourself all encompassing and fully overnight either. But it's powerful to do it in the step-by-step process. So seeing where you're coming down on yourself, seeing where you're hard on yourself, and then instead saying, okay, how can I love the decisions I've made? Not just point blank love them, but understand them. And when you understand them, you love yourself more. That's what's happening. And then we get back to this universal energy of love, this alignment, this light source energy that's always wins, always prevails. You've now built this up inside of yourself. You're continuing to bring light to your shadows. You're becoming stronger and stronger. And you're also bringing in the divine by doing inner light work on a daily basis. And so now you have this very strong force field of love energy, and these things can't ping you, and these things can't penetrate you. And again, if they do, make it your power. This is a call to a higher activation. This is a call to a higher self. And also, don't let this knowledge, this awareness that these things can happen, be anything that stops you from being who you're meant to be. Because then this is going to have the reverse effect. One more example of letting this kind of sink into your awareness and in a way that's meant to for you is if you think about the simple ways we make decisions. Hang on, pause. Blake, will you edit this part? I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I'm just going to end it. Oh, okay. If you think about, well, I don't want to put myself out there because I don't want to be at risk of these things, that negates the whole purpose anyway. So we have this friction, we have this temptation of negative energy so that we realize more of ourselves, so that we step even further into our power and we say, well, I'm going to do this anyway because I believe in my gifts. I believe in my purpose. I believe that what I'm here to do is help make change and help other people's hearts light up with what it is that I do. So thinking about it from that perspective is really asking you to kind of climb to the top of your energetic ladder and let yourself have this gorgeous, pulsing, loving energy constantly moving through you. When you do this, more begets more. More light begets more light. More love begets more love. So what's funny is what we're really talking about here is fully loving and embracing yourself. But we're using a human challenging example to bring in the message. And when you do this practice over and over again, more and more, a little bit each day, all of this energy builds on itself, and you become a beautiful magnet for more love, for more aligned relationships in all ways. Could be business, could be clients, could be a romantic partner, could be friends. could be a puppy, could be a goldfish. But it's all going to be in more of alignment with you. And that alignment also helps you build your community, build your tribe of people around you who are also activated in love. And then you're amplifying each other. And this becomes an even more incredible thing. There are so many YouTube videos, podcasts, stories, all these things on spiritual warfare. And I always want you to remember to use your own internal BS detector. You have a gut BS detector. And anytime you're in a place where something makes you feel like you're on the defensive or that you're out of your power, it's an invitation for you to seek the other side of that coin. And the other side of that coin is your wisdom. It's the side you want to be on. With an awareness of the shadow, because the awareness makes you smarter, it makes you wiser, it increases your capability to help more people. Enjoy your love. Enjoy your light. 365 days in our Gregorian calendar year that you get to enjoy not just this light and love that you're cultivating, but its impact that it's having on the world. And speaking of the double side of the coin, if you think about the fact that, okay, well, people can project negativity into actuation. I had something flying around my living room the other day, and I reached out to somebody who is well trained in inner light work via their own practice and asked them to hold space to clear it. It was at the end of the day, and I was tired, and when things are in your own home, you just feel more sensitive to it. And I could have cleared it if I wanted to, but I wanted support. And so they cleared it, and I thanked them, and I got this nudge for us to just kind of ask a few more questions about it. So I asked some questions, and sure enough, it was from an individual who had those feelings. And that's fine. This human path is so tough. It's so tough. And I have, of course, boundaries, but such grace that each of us is going about this in the way that we best can understand. And it was also just that final nudge to get this episode out to you guys. The clearing happened, no problem. And remember, as we continue to build and cultivate this love, that is what you are projecting into this world. That is what you are causing as a beautiful ripple effect in this world, is the light, is the vibrations, is the love that we all desire to experience. So that is the other side of that coin, that there's so many of us coming in here doing this work, sharing it in different ways, be it painting or formal energy work. And that too is putting out incredible energies into our experience. From my light to yours, thank you for bringing all of you into this world.